if you watch Lee Ellickson's vlog, and you know she talks about drinking water at the beginning of practically every vlog. This is coffee. Sorry, Lee, but it's been that kind of a morning. Ah, okay, so good. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Bird Artist Cottage. I'm Tara Kate, and back with another studio vlog for you today. And I'm gonna lead off with some really big news. I got an illustration contract to illustrate a book, a whole book. Wow. So this quote has been out for a while, and I've been waiting for word as to whether or not I'm gonna get the contract, and I got the contract. So this is huge, huge news for me. I get to illustrate an entire book about Oregon birds. I'm doing, I think, 41 bird illustrations and 15 landscape illustrations. It's going to be a huge job. And after I got the contract, I sat down and I started working on my schedule and how I'm going to meet all these deadlines. And I'm like, oh shit, what have I gotten myself into? But yeah, this is going to be a lot of work. So you're going to be seeing a lot of bird illustrations in future videos because I'm going to be working my tail off to get all this stuff done. But I'm really, really excited about it. Very grateful. It's a really cool project, and I'm really, really excited about it. So you'll get to see all the behind the scenes on that in future videos. But let's talk about what we have for you today. Yay! I have already spent some of my hard-earned illustration money by going out and buying a lot of illustration supplies. So you'll see my art supply haul as well as some unboxing videos for the continuing studio makeover. And I'll show you my new area rug. I got the curtains up and bought a new print. So I'm excited to show you all of that. And then the other thing I have for you today is a mixing chart in Gansai Tambi. I don't often do color mixing charts, in part because I find them a bit tedious, but I was filming this one for the Skillshare class that I'm creating. So you'll get a sneak peek before the Skillshare class comes out. And also there's a little interlude with Finch and I enjoying some of the last fall flowers and some spider webs and colorful leaves and such on our walk out here in our neighborhood around the cottage. So I'll look forward to talking to you again at the end of the video. So from Blick, I got a new Strathmore mixed media sketchbook. This is the sort that I normally use. And I really love the heaviness of the paper and just the versatility of the sketchbook. Then I bought 2 of these Strathmore drawing paper pads. These are 9x12, and these are the ones that I'll be doing my final sketches for my illustration project on, that I'll present to the client for approval. I got 3 of these aqua hot press Stonehenge, also 9x12 white. This is 100% cotton. This is my favorite watercolor paper. Also does super, super well with gouache and colored pencil. I got 3 of these, 15 sheets each. So I got some new acrylic gouache. I got ultramarine blue and ultramarine deep, burnt sienna, sepia, which I've never used before, but Rebecca Green talks about using a lot, so I decided I wanted to try that, and burnt umber. I also got a big tube of titanium white And then I got 2 tubes of the other 2 whites, the primary white and the Chinese white. I couldn't really find anything on what is the difference between these, so I'm going to try some mixing tests and just see what I learn from comparing these 3 to one another. And of course I'll share that with you. I also got some new brushes. These are all the Princeton Select brand, a 3 round, a 1 round, a 0 round. Then I got 2 of these grainers. I had never seen this brush before. Let's see if I can get a really good shot of the texture of the tip of this brush. I got 2 of these grainers, a 3/8 and a 1/4. They look like they might be really, really helpful for doing feathers, for example. And then 3 flats, a 1/2 inch, a number 4, and a number 8. These are called blenders, or this one's a flat wash, and these 2 are flat shaders. Although I don't really know what the difference is. It's probably something to do with the tip. In the colored pencil department, I got a couple of Stabilo Alls, a black and a white. In case you're not familiar with Stabilo All, this is a aquarelle. It's a watercolor pencil, but it writes on anything: glass, plastic, wood, anything, any surface at all. They're really handy to have around in the studio. I didn't buy many colored pencils. Well, I bought several colored pencils, but just black, and then 4 whites because my whites were all about this long. And then I got some fresh kneaded erasers, a little tiny one to carry around with me all the time, and then a couple of larger ones. My larger one is so filthy dirty that it was starting to leave marks on my page. So I wanted some fresh ones for this new project. If you'd like to be among the first to get invitations to live virtual open studio events and notifications about shop updates, subscribe to my newsletter at terracatedesigns.com/newsletter. A link is in the description below. that I've completed this color chart, I just wanted to say a few things about it. First, I have to admit that I am not a huge fan of painting these. I like having done them, but I don't like doing them very much. And part of the reason I don't enjoy them is because I find them a bit tedious. And also, if I am the least bit tired or distracted, I tend to make mistakes. And that's what happened this time as I reversed yellow ochre and burnt sienna with the black mixes. And kind of got a bit sloppy a couple of times and let things kind of bleed into each other there toward the end. So, word to the wise, don't do these when you're tired or distracted if you're like me and prone to sort of, losing track of where you might be in the process. But I do think these are very, very helpful to do. For one thing, they teach you a great deal about the handling characteristics of your medium. So while I don't really enjoy working on these, having these as a reference is absolutely invaluable. So if you have a new medium, like Gansai Tambi, or some other new medium, especially if you're buying in a set, but even if you're not, say, for example, I know a lot of people are buying the Rebecca Green palette special edition whole bean acrylic gouache. That's a wonderful opportunity to sit down and do a whole mixing chart and really learn a lot about what are the capabilities and the capacities of those colors. And you can also obviously make adjustments in how you do it. I only did the lower half of this color chart, but you could do both halves and have some purpose in it. For example, making one half very saturated and the other half more dilute. So these are very, very helpful. I encourage you to do them, but make sure that you're rested and that you're not distracted, and keep up very carefully with where you are so that you don't have little errors like the ones that I made. But
across town, trying to get to you. I've been keeping my phone on no sound, facing you out, that's true. Now I get butterflies just thinking about your eyes, and that can't be all bad. Things came up, things went down, maybe turn back around. My spider sense screaming that I'm mad. A big storm blew up, a hurricane right in my coffee cup, carried me far, far away, and that's why I couldn't make it today.
you may have noticed that I did not publish an episode last week, and I have decided to go every other week on the vlog for a while. And part of that is due to this large illustration contract. I really need to be able to better balance between YouTube content creation and what I'm getting paid to create. Hopefully someday YouTube is going to pay me to create too through your watch hours and advertiser generosity. But until that comes along, I'm going to have to dial back a little bit. So my intention now is I'm going to start going every other week and try to get longer episodes instead of shorter weekly episodes. And we'll see how that works. And hopefully the algorithm is not going to punish me for that. I know a lot of people do every other week or even monthly vlogs and seem to do just fine. So let's keep our fingers crossed that that works out here as well. I wanted to share a little bit about what happened during the week that I was off. When I was working on the last episode, the one before this one, and I was really feeling very pressured and very stressed. I was working at home and I had let Finch out into the backyard. And when I got ready to let him back in, I saw that he had brought some items up onto the back porch there on the rug, and those items were bits of mushrooms. Now, I am not a mycologist. I don't know anything about mushrooms, and so of course I immediately panicked, brought the dog inside, gathered up all the little bits of mushrooms, and photographed them, and then texted a friend of mine who knows a lot more about mushrooms than I do. And she kindly called a mycologist friend of hers to identify the parts of the mushrooms. While I was waiting for him, I called the veterinarian. The veterinarian told me to call pet poison control. I didn't even know there was a pet poison control. Talked to the lovely veterinarian there and learned the helpful method for making dogs throw up, which we then did. And as I was, this makes me almost cry remembering this, as I was giving Finch the hydrogen peroxide, this is how you make dogs throw up. This was news to me. As I was dosing Finch with the hydrogen peroxide, which was a miserable experience for both of us. I was quite a bit more traumatized than the puppy was. As I was dosing my dog, I thought, something has to change. My pet, my family, my self-care is more important than my bleeping YouTube video is. And that was the moment that I decided that I needed to go every other week, at least for a while, just to lift some of the pressure of production off of myself. The video prior to this one, I tried to keep up with how many hours it took to produce it. It was about a 15-minute video, and it took me about 13 hours to produce that video. So, as you can see, I need better balance in my life. So this is about self-care. If you are feeling out of balance like I was, don't wait for your dog to eat a poisonous mushroom. And he's fine, by the way. I mean, you've seen video of him. He's fine. This was far worse on me than it was on him. He threw up. They told me it was just a mildly toxic mushroom and that he would just have a little gastrointestinal upset and then he'd be fine. And that was exactly how it was. And he is fine. But if you are feeling imbalanced with your self-care, take a step back. Now is a good time. Take a deep breath right now. Let's do it together. And let our shoulders drop down from our ears. Speaking of shoulders, threw this shoulder out last week too. So haven't been sleeping very well because there is no comfortable position on which to lay with this shoulder. Yeah, it's time to slow down the video production just a little bit. A little bit more about the studio makeover. I have gotten the curtains up, or at least one of the sheer panels up, and I love how it has changed the lighting in this room. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we're not going to have a lot more sunny days now, but when we do have sun, this really makes the light so lovely and translucent, and really, really enjoying that shift in the dynamic of light in the studio. I got the print that you saw me put up. That print, I found it on Pinterest. I was doing a mood board for the studio makeover and somehow this print came up and I absolutely fell in love with her. I just really relate to her somehow, either like she's like my little sister or a younger me or maybe my daughter. She's just beautiful. I love the whole sentiment. The high on life really feels like that's really who I am. And the fact that she's inhaling and exhaling all these flowers, there was just something about that that really, really appealed to me. And I really love the colors in that. So I'm really delighted with that. And then I got my new area rug. I picked the one with the octopus on it because it's a little different. It's got very nice colors. It fits the whole naturalist cottagecore aesthetic, I think, very well. And it's different. It's just not something you see every day. So I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks really beautiful in here. And it also helps with the sound dynamics in the room. And then last but not least, you guys, The past 2 weeks have been so good to me. I've been working really, really hard on bringing a lot more people to this channel, working on increasing my impressions. I've worked on increasing my click-through rate. I have a lot more subscribers than I had before, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for being here. And if you'd like to see the studio makeover from the beginning, check out this video.